The bridge of the UES Defiant was a microcosm of human ingenuity and resilience, a symphony of flickering holographic displays, the soft hum of advanced technology, and the palpable tension of a first contact gone awry. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent testament to the gravity of the situation. The Defiant, Earth's flagship, was a marvel of human engineering, a testament to the decades of rapid advancement that had propelled humanity from a planet-bound species to a contender in the vast cosmic arena. Its sleek, angular design, a fusion of practicality and aesthetic elegance, reflected the human spirit, adaptable, innovative, and defiantly optimistic. Admiral Vega, the embodiment of this spirit, sat in her command chair, her posture relaxed yet alert, her gaze fixed on the main view screen. Her cybernetic eye, a gleaming obsidian orb seamlessly integrated with her organic tissue, flickered with an internal light, a silent indicator of the complex calculations running through her mind. Vega was a veteran of countless simulations, a master strategist, and a woman whose reputation preceded her. She was known for her sharp wit, her unflinching resolve, and her uncanny ability to anticipate her opponent's moves. Her presence on the bridge was a reassuring beacon, a symbol of humanity's unwavering determination. The main view screen displayed the Zirilan dreadnought, a colossal behemoth that dwarfed the Defiant. Its form was an intricate tapestry of bioluminescent circuits, pulsating with an eerie, otherworldly light. The Zirilan were a species known for their technological prowess, their rigid adherence to protocol, and their unwavering belief in their own superiority. Their ships, like their society, were meticulously crafted, each component serving a specific purpose, each design reflecting their militaristic ethos. The dreadnought's transmission, a holographic projection that filled the bridge with a stark, fractal image of planetary subjugation, was a masterpiece of intimidation. It depicted Earth, once a vibrant blue and green sphere, now a desolate, barren wasteland, its surface scarred by the unmistakable marks of Zirilan weaponry. The message, delivered in a guttural, synthesized voice, was clear: surrender or face annihilation. Vega's response, a phrase translated as, "Your threat matrix appears to be experiencing a quantum quip," was a calculated act of defiance. It was a subtle jab, a linguistic weapon designed to disrupt the Zirilan's rigid thought patterns. The phrase itself was a complex interplay of scientific jargon and sardonic wit, a deliberate attempt to confuse and disorient the Zirilan command. Lieutenant Harrison, a young, brilliant officer with a penchant for theoretical physics, was monitoring the ship's systems when he noticed a faint ripple in the Defiant's temporal field. It was a fleeting anomaly, a subtle distortion in the fabric of spacetime, coinciding precisely with Vega's reply. Harrison's eyes widened, his fingers flying across the console, analyzing the data streams. He had been studying chronal anomalies for years, fascinated by the elusive nature of time and its potential for manipulation. The glitch he observed was too precise, too perfectly timed, to be a mere coincidence. The Zirilan, a species that prided itself on its logical, linear thinking, were ill-equipped to handle such an unexpected response. Their communication systems, designed to process and transmit data with unwavering precision, struggled to interpret Vega's cryptic message. The phrase quantum quip was a linguistic anomaly, a paradox that defied their understanding of language and logic. Grand Marshal Kull, the commander of the Zirilan fleet, felt a discordant note, a dissonance in the fabric of his perception. His sensory tendrils, extensions of his nervous system that allowed him to perceive subtle changes in his environment, twitched erratically. He felt a sense of unease, a feeling that something was amiss, that the reality he perceived was somehow distorted. Kull was a veteran of countless campaigns, a master strategist who had never encountered an opponent as unpredictable as the humans. He had studied their history, their culture, their technology, but he had failed to comprehend the essence of their being, their capacity for creativity, their resilience in the face of adversity, and their ability to find humor in the face of annihilation. The Zirilan's rigid adherence to protocol, their unwavering belief in their own superiority, had blinded them to the true nature of their opponents. They had underestimated the humans' ability to adapt, their capacity for innovation, and their willingness to defy expectations. The quantum quip was not merely a witty remark. It was a weapon, a linguistic disruptor designed to sow confusion and doubt. It was a calculated move, a gambit that Vega hoped would give humanity a crucial advantage in the initial stages of the conflict. The chronal glitch, the faint ripple in the Defiant's temporal field, was a mystery, a puzzle that Harrison was determined to solve. He suspected that it was connected to Vega's reply, that her words had somehow triggered a subtle manipulation of spacetime. The tension on the bridge was palpable, a silent testament to the gravity of the situation. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, suspended between the Zirilan's overwhelming firepower and the humans' unwavering resolve. The first part of this encounter wasn't just a simple exchange of threats and responses. It was a complex interplay of psychological warfare, technological prowess, and human ingenuity. It was a symphony of defiance, a testament to the human spirit's ability to rise to any challenge, to face any adversary, and to find humor in the face of annihilation. The flicker of the cybernetic eye, the distortion of the Zirilan command, and the subtle shift in the temporal field all indicated the beginning of a conflict that would change the galaxy forever. The quantum quip was not just a phrase. It was a symbol of humanity's ability to turn the tables, to defy expectations, and to challenge the very fabric of reality. The bridge of the UES Defiant, already a crucible of tension, now simmered with a barely contained energy, a charged atmosphere that crackled with unspoken questions and the weight of impending conflict. The Zirilan dreadnought, a monument to alien might, remained a looming presence on the main view screen, its bioluminescent circuits pulsing with an ominous rhythm. The silence that followed Vega's quantum quip was thick, heavy, a suffocating blanket of uncertainty. Admiral Vega, her cybernetic eye flickering with an almost imperceptible intensity, leaned slightly forward in her command chair. The subtle shift in her posture, a barely noticeable tightening of her jaw, betrayed the depth of her concentration. She was a master of reading the subtle cues of her environment, the minute shifts in energy that could reveal an opponent's intentions. The Zirilan silence, their inability to immediately respond, was a victory in itself, a testament to the effectiveness of her linguistic gambit. Lieutenant Harrison, his fingers still dancing across the console, continued to analyze the temporal anomaly, the faint ripple in spacetime, the chronal glitch that coincided with Vega's reply, was a puzzle that consumed his every thought. He had isolated the anomaly, pinpointed its origin to a localized point within the Defiant's bridge, a point that seemed to emanate from the very air around Vega. He was beginning to suspect that her words, her quantum quip, were not merely a linguistic weapon, but a catalyst, a trigger for something far more profound. Admiral. Harrison's voice, usually a calm, measured tone, now carried a hint of urgency. I've isolated the chronal anomaly. It appears to be a localized temporal distortion, emanating from the bridge itself, specifically, from the immediate vicinity of your position. Vega's cybernetic eye flickered, its internal light intensifying for a fraction of a second. Explain, Lieutenant. The anomaly is subtle, but it's there. It's a momentary shift in the flow of time, a localized distortion that appears to have been triggered by your response to the Zirilan transmission. I'm still analyzing the data, but it seems to be a form of controlled temporal manipulation, a minute, localized time dilation. Controlled temporal manipulation? Vega's brow furrowed, her gaze shifting to the main view screen, where the Zirilan dreadnought remained ominously silent. Are you suggesting that my words somehow altered the flow of time? It's a working theory, Admiral. The quantum quip, as you called it, may have been more than just a clever phrase. It may have been a key, a trigger for a latent ability, a function of the Defiant's advanced technology that we were previously unaware of. The Zirilan silence was broken by a sudden burst of static, followed by a distorted, fragmented transmission. Grand Marshal Kull's holographic projection, usually a sharp, fractal image, now flickered and glitched, his sensory tendrils twitching erratically. Humans. Kull's voice, a guttural, synthesized tone, was laced with a hint of confusion. Your words, they disrupt our processing, illogical, paradox. The Zirilan's inability to process Vega's quantum quip was becoming increasingly evident. Their rigid, logical thought patterns, their reliance on linear processing, were ill-equipped to handle the paradoxical nature of her phrase. The quantum quip was a linguistic virus, a cognitive disruptor that was wreaking havoc on their neural networks. Grand Marshal Kull. Vega's voice, calm and measured, cut through the static. Your inability to comprehend a simple phrase speaks volumes about the limitations of your understanding. Perhaps you should consider expanding your cognitive horizons. Kull's holographic projection flickered violently, his sensory tendrils flailing wildly. Limitations? We are the Zirilan, the pinnacle of technological evolution. You are anomalies, disruptions, to the natural order. The natural order, Vega's voice was laced with a hint of amusement, is a concept as fluid and adaptable as the universe itself. You cling to rigid structures, to outdated protocols, while we embrace the chaos, the unpredictability, the infinite possibilities. The Zirilan dreadnought began to emit a low, resonant hum, a deep, throbbing sound that vibrated through the Defiant's hull. The bioluminescent circuits on its surface pulsed with increasing intensity, their light casting an eerie glow across the bridge. Humans, Kull's voice, now a low, menacing growl. Your defiance is unacceptable. Prepare for annihilation. The Zirilan dreadnought began to power up its weapons systems, its massive energy cannons glowing with a blinding white light. The bridge of the Defiant was bathed in the eerie glow, the air thick with the anticipation of imminent combat. Shields up, Lieutenant Commander, Vega ordered, her voice calm and steady. Evasive maneuvers, helmsman prepare to return fire. Lieutenant Commander Anya Sharma, the Defiant's tactical officer, responded with practiced efficiency. Shields at maximum, Admiral Evasive Pattern Theta 7 engaged weapons systems online and ready. The Defiant, a marvel of human engineering, responded with agility and precision. Its sleek, angular design, a fusion of practicality and aesthetic elegance, allowed it to maneuver with remarkable speed and grace. The ship danced through the void, evading the initial barrage of energy blasts from the Zirilan dreadnought. The Defiant's weapons systems, a combination of particle cannons and quantum torpedoes, unleashed a barrage of their own, targeting the Zirilan dreadnought's vulnerable points. The energy blasts and quantum torpedoes impacted the dreadnought's shields, creating a dazzling display of light and energy. The battle had begun, a clash between two vastly different civilizations, a conflict that would determine the fate of humanity. The Zirilan, with their overwhelming firepower and rigid adherence to protocol, were a formidable opponent, but the humans, with their ingenuity, their adaptability, and their unwavering resolve, were not to be underestimated. Harrison, his fingers still flying across the console, continued to monitor the temporal anomaly. He had made a breakthrough, a discovery that could potentially turn the tide of the battle. Admiral, Harrison's voice, now filled with a sense of urgency. I've discovered the mechanism behind the temporal anomaly. It's connected to the Defiant's quantum core, a power source that we've only recently begun to understand. It appears that the quantum core is capable of generating localized temporal distortions, but only when triggered by a specific linguistic construct, a phrase that resonates with the core's quantum frequencies. A linguistic construct? Vega's brow furrowed. Are you suggesting that my words, the quantum quip, were the key? Yes, Admiral. The quantum quip was not just a clever phrase. It was a precise sequence of words, a linguistic formula that resonated with the quantum core, triggering the temporal distortion. It's a form of language-based quantum manipulation, a technology that we were previously unaware of. Language-based quantum manipulation, Vega repeated, her cybernetic eye flickering with a renewed intensity. This could be a game-changer. Indeed, Admiral, if we can learn to control this ability, we can manipulate time itself, create localized time dilations, slow down our opponents, or even accelerate our own actions. Then we must learn to control it, Vega declared, her voice filled with a sense of determination. Lieutenant Harrison, I want you to focus on analyzing the linguistic construct, the sequence of words that triggered the temporal anomaly. We need to understand how it works, how to replicate it, how to control it. Yes, Admiral, Harrison responded, his fingers flying across the console, his mind racing with possibilities. The battle raged on, the Defiant and the Zirilan dreadnought exchanging volleys of energy blasts and quantum torpedoes. The Defiant, with its superior maneuverability and advanced technology, was holding its own against the Zirilan's overwhelming firepower. But the Zirilan were relentless, their attacks relentless, their determination unwavering. Vega, her cybernetic eye scanning the tactical displays, was formulating a plan, a strategy that would exploit the humans' newfound ability to manipulate time. She knew that they couldn't defeat the Zirilan through brute force alone. They needed to use their ingenuity, their adaptability, their ability to think outside the box. Lieutenant Commander Sharma, Vega ordered, I want you to target the Zirilan dreadnoughts' main energy cannons. Focus all firepower on their primary weapons systems. We need to disable their firepower. Create an opening. Yes, Admiral, Sharma responded, her fingers flying across the tactical console. The Defiant's weapons systems, under Sharma's expert control, unleashed a concentrated barrage of energy blasts and quantum torpedoes, targeting the Zirilan dreadnoughts' main energy cannons. The impacts were devastating, the energy blasts creating massive explosions, the quantum torpedoes ripping through the dreadnoughts' shields. The Zirilan dreadnoughts' main energy cannons began to malfunction, their blinding white light flickering and sputtering. The dreadnought's firepower was significantly reduced, creating an opening for the Defiant. Helmsman, Vega ordered, take us in closer. I want to get within close range of the dreadnought. Yes, Admiral, the helmsman responded, maneuvering the Defiant with precision and skill. The Defiant closed the distance. The Defiant, now dangerously close to the Zirilan dreadnought, became a blur of motion, a swift, agile predator circling a lumbering behemoth. The Zirilan, caught off guard by the Defiant's sudden aggression and the disabling of their primary weapons, struggled to react. Their massive dreadnought, designed for overwhelming firepower at long range, was ill-equipped for close-quarters combat. Admiral Vega, her cybernetic eye scanning the tactical displays, saw an opportunity. The Zirilan's shields, weakened by the Defiant's concentrated fire, flickered intermittently, revealing vulnerable points in their hull. Lieutenant Harrison, Vega's voice, calm and focused, cut through the tension on the bridge. Have you made any progress on analyzing the linguistic construct? Yes, Admiral, Harrison responded, his fingers still flying across the console, his eyes glued to the data streams. I've identified the key components of the phrase. It appears to be a combination of specific phonemes, intonations, and rhythmic patterns that resonate with the Defiant's quantum core. The phrase itself is not as important as the underlying structure, the sonic signature that it creates. Sonic signature, Vega repeated, her brow furrowed. So, it's not the words themselves, but the way they're spoken? Precisely, Admiral. It's the vibrational frequency, the quantum resonance, that triggers the temporal anomaly. The words are merely a vehicle for that resonance. Then we need to replicate that resonance, Vega declared, her voice filled with determination. Can you isolate the sonic signature, create a template that we can use? Yes, Admiral, I'm working on it now. I should be able to create a digital waveform that replicates the sonic signature of the quantum quip. Good, Vega said, her gaze shifting to the main view screen, where the Zirilan dreadnought loomed, its shields flickering and sputtering. Lieutenant Commander Sharma, I want you to prepare a targeted quantum torpedo strike. We're going to exploit those vulnerable points in their shields. Helmsman, maintain our current position, but be ready to execute evasive maneuvers at a moment's notice. Yes, Admiral, Sharma and the helmsman responded in unison. Harrison, his fingers flying across the console, worked feverishly, isolating and analyzing the sonic signature of the quantum quip. He was able to create a digital waveform, a precise replication of the vibrational frequency that triggered the temporal anomaly. Admiral, Harrison announced, his voice filled with a sense of accomplishment. I've created the waveform. I can transmit it to the ship's systems, integrated into our targeting matrix. Excellent, Vega said, her cybernetic eye flickering with anticipation. Transmit the waveform to Lieutenant Commander Sharma. I want her to integrate it into the quantum torpedo targeting system. Transmitting now, Admiral, Harrison responded. Sharma, receiving the waveform, quickly integrated it into the quantum torpedo targeting system. The waveform, now a component of the targeting matrix, would allow the quantum torpedoes to resonate with the Defiant's quantum core, triggering a localized temporal distortion upon impact. Targeting system updated, Admiral, Sharma announced. Quantum torpedoes locked on the Zirilan dreadnought's vulnerable points, ready to fire on your command. Fire, Vega ordered, her voice calm and steady. The Defiant's quantum torpedoes, now imbued with the sonic signature of the quantum quip, streaked towards the Zirilan dreadnought. Their trajectories guided by Sharma's expert targeting, the torpedoes impacted the dreadnought's vulnerable points, creating a series of blinding explosions. But this time, the explosions were different. They were accompanied by a faint, almost imperceptible ripple in the fabric of space-time, a subtle distortion that spread outwards from the point of impact. The Zirilan dreadnought, caught within the localized temporal distortions, began to experience a series of strange anomalies. Its bioluminescent circuits flickered erratically, its energy shields pulsed and shimmered, and its massive hull seemed to waver and distort. The Zirilan crew, experiencing the effects of the temporal distortions, were thrown into disarray. Their sensory tendrils twitched uncontrollably, their neural networks overloaded with conflicting data, and their perception of reality began to unravel. Grand Marshal Kull, the commander of the Zirilan fleet, felt a wave of disorientation wash over him. His sensory tendrils, normally extensions of his nervous system, now delivered a cacophony of conflicting signals. The reality he perceived was fragmented, distorted, a kaleidoscope of disjointed images and sounds. "What is happening?" Kull's voice, a distorted, garbled tone, echoed through the dreadnought's bridge. "Our systems, malfunctioning, time, distorted." The Zirilan dreadnought, trapped within the localized temporal distortions, was effectively frozen in time, its actions slowed to a crawl. The Defiant, unaffected by the temporal anomalies, was free to maneuver and attack at will. "Lieutenant Commander Sharma," Vega ordered, her voice filled with a sense of triumph, "focus all firepower on the dreadnought's main reactor core. We're going to exploit this opportunity." "Yes, Admiral," Sharma responded, her fingers flying across the tactical console. The Defiant's weapon systems, now firing with renewed intensity, unleashed a concentrated barrage of energy blasts and quantum torpedoes, targeting the Zirilan dreadnought's main reactor core. The impacts were devastating, the energy blasts ripping through the dreadnought's hull, the quantum torpedoes penetrating deep into its core. The Zirilan dreadnought, its systems overloaded and its hull breached, began to emit a series of warning signals. Its bioluminescent circuits flickered and died, its energy shields collapsed, and its massive hull began to buckle and crack. "Reactor core critical," a synthesized voice announced from the Zirilan dreadnought's bridge. "Self-destruct sequence initiated." The Zirilan dreadnought, mortally wounded, was about to self-destruct, unleashing a catastrophic explosion that would obliterate everything within a vast radius. "Helmsman," Vega ordered, her voice sharp and decisive. "Take us out of here, maximum speed." "Yes, Admiral," the helmsman responded, maneuvering the Defiant with lightning speed. The Defiant, its engines roaring, accelerated away from the Zirilan dreadnought, leaving the doomed vessel behind. The dreadnought, its reactor core reaching critical mass, began to emit a blinding white light, a prelude to its imminent destruction. The Zirilan dreadnought exploded, unleashing a massive wave of energy that ripped through the void, a cataclysmic event that illuminated the surrounding space with an eerie, otherworldly glow. The Defiant, now at a safe distance, watched as the Zirilan dreadnought was consumed by the inferno, its remnants scattered across the vast expanse of space. The bridge of the Defiant was filled with a sense of relief, a collective exhale after a moment of intense pressure. They had faced a formidable opponent, a technologically advanced species with overwhelming firepower, and they had emerged victorious. "Damage report," Vega ordered, her voice calm and steady. "Minimal damage, Admiral," Sharma responded. "Shields are down to 70%, but we sustained no hull breaches. Weapon systems are fully operational." "Casualty report," Vega continued. The bridge of the UES Defiant, now bathed in the soft glow of its operational displays, hummed with a renewed sense of purpose. The echoes of the Zirilan dreadnought's destruction still lingered in the air, a stark reminder of the conflict's ferocity. Admiral Vega, her cybernetic eye scanning the tactical data, held a steady gaze, her expression a mask of focused determination. The victory, though significant, was merely a tactical maneuver in a larger, more complex war. "Communications channel established, Admiral," the communications officer announced, his voice steady. "Receiving a fragmented signal from the Zirilan command ship. Patch it through to the main view screen." Vega ordered, her voice calm. The main view screen flickered, then dissolved into a distorted image of a Zirilan command officer. His sensory tendrils, usually erect and alert, drooped, and his holographic projection wavered, a testament to the shock and disorientation that gripped the Zirilan fleet. Humans! The officer's voice, a synthesized, garbled tone, echoed through the bridge. Your actions unexpected, illogical. Your logic is a cage, Commander. Vega responded, her voice clear and resonant. It limits your perception, blinds you to possibilities. We have merely demonstrated the limitations of your understanding. The Zirilan officer's sensory tendrils twitched, his holographic projection flickering. We demand explanation, your technology, anomaly. Our technology is a reflection of our adaptability, our ability to embrace the unknown, Vega stated, her voice laced with a hint of defiance. We are not bound by rigid protocols or preconceived notions. We explore, we innovate, we evolve. Evolve? The Zirilan officer's voice held a hint of disdain. You are chaotic, unpredictable, a threat to galactic order. Order is not stagnation, Commander, Vega countered. It is the dynamic balance of change and adaptation. You cling to a static model of the universe, while we embrace its inherent dynamism. We will not tolerate your defiance, the Zirilan officer declared, his voice regaining a semblance of its former authority. We will retaliate with overwhelming force. Retaliation is a predictable response, Commander, Vega said, her voice laced with a hint of weariness. It is a cycle of violence that leads only to destruction. We offer you an alternative, dialogue, understanding, a path to coexistence. The Zirilan officer's holographic projection flickered, his sensory tendrils twitching erratically. Coexistence? With anomalies? With chaos? Chaos is not destruction, Commander, Vega clarified. It is the raw potential of the universe, the source of all creativity and innovation. We have learned to harness that potential, to shape it to our will. Perhaps you can learn to do the same. The Zirilan officer remained silent, his holographic projection wavering, his sensory tendrils drooping. The quantum quip, the linguistic disruptor, had not only disabled their technology but also disrupted their cognitive processes, forcing them to confront the limitations of their rigid logic. We will consider your offer, the Zirilan officer finally conceded, his voice barely a whisper. But we make no promises. Consideration is a step in the right direction, Commander, Vega responded, her voice filled with a hint of optimism. We await your response. The communications channel closed, leaving the bridge of the Defiant in a tense silence. The victory over the Zirilan dreadnought had bought them time, but the conflict was far from over. The Zirilan, though momentarily shaken, remained a formidable opponent, a species with vast resources and a deep-seated belief in their own superiority. Admiral, Lieutenant Harrison's voice, usually calm and analytical, now carried a hint of excitement. I've made a significant breakthrough in my analysis of the temporal anomaly. Proceed, Lieutenant, Vega ordered, her gaze shifting to Harrison's console. I've discovered that the quantum quip, the linguistic construct that triggers the temporal distortion, is not a unique phenomenon, Harrison explained, his fingers flying across the console. It's a manifestation of a fundamental principle of quantum physics, a principle that we've only recently begun to understand. And that principle is? Vega asked, her brow furrowed. Resonance, Admiral, Harrison replied. Quantum resonance. The quantum quip is a sonic signature, a vibrational frequency that resonates with the Defiant's quantum core, triggering a localized temporal distortion. It's akin to striking a tuning fork and causing another tuning fork to vibrate in sympathy. Resonance, Vega repeated, her cybernetic eye flickering with understanding. So, the quantum quip is not a weapon in itself, but a key that unlocks the Defiant's latent abilities. Precisely, Admiral, Harrison confirmed. And the implications are profound. If we can understand the principles of quantum resonance, We can potentially manipulate time and space with unprecedented precision. Manipulation of time and space, Vega murmured, her gaze shifting to the main view screen, where the remnants of the Zirilan dreadnought drifted in the void. That could change everything. Indeed, Admiral, Harrison agreed. It could give us the ability to defend ourselves against any threat, to explore the universe with unparalleled freedom, to shape our own destiny. But it also carries great responsibility, Vega cautioned. The power to manipulate time and space is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good or for evil. We must tread carefully, with wisdom and restraint. I understand, Admiral, Harrison said, his voice filled with a sense of gravity. We must use this knowledge wisely, for the benefit of all. The bridge of the Defiant fell into a thoughtful silence, the crew contemplating the implications of Harrison's discovery. The ability to manipulate time and space was a game-changer, a technology that could potentially reshape the galaxy. But it also carried the risk of unintended consequences, the potential for abuse, the danger of altering the delicate balance of the universe. Vega, her cybernetic eye scanning the tactical data, knew that they couldn't afford to be complacent. The Zirilan, though momentarily subdued, remained a threat. They needed to prepare for any eventuality, to develop a strategy that would ensure humanity's survival. Lieutenant Commander Sharma, Vega ordered, I want you to analyze the Zirilan fleet's communication patterns. Look for any signs of activity, any indications of their intentions. Yes, Admiral, Sharma responded, her fingers flying across the tactical console. Helmsman, Vega continued, maintain our current position, but be ready to execute evasive maneuvers at a moment's notice. I want to be prepared for any surprise attacks. Yes, Admiral, the helmsman responded, his hands hovering over the controls. Vega, her gaze fixed on the main view screen, knew that the next phase of the conflict would be crucial. The Zirilan's response to their offer of dialogue would determine the fate of humanity. They needed to be prepared for any outcome, to be ready to defend themselves, but also to be open to the possibility of peace. The bridge of the Defiant remained vigilant, a beacon of human ingenuity and resilience in the vast expanse of space. The crew, united in their purpose, stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, their determination unwavering, their spirit unbroken. The quantum quip had not only disrupted the Zirilan, but also awakened a new understanding within humanity, a realization of their own potential, a glimpse into the vast possibilities of the universe. The echo of resonance, the vibration of quantum understanding, was just beginning to reverberate through the cosmos. Part 5. The Harmonic Convergence. The Defiant, a vessel of human aspiration, hung suspended in the vast canvas of space, a silent sentinel awaiting the Zirilan's response. The bridge, a microcosm of humanity's resilience, hummed with a quiet intensity, the crew poised between anticipation and preparedness. Admiral Vega, her cybernetic eye a beacon of focused resolve, surveyed the tactical displays, her mind a whirlwind of strategic calculations. Hours stretched into an eternity, the silence punctuated only by the soft hum of the Defiant's systems. Then, a flicker on the main view screen, a surge of static, and the fragmented image of the Zirilan command officer reappeared. Humans! The officer's voice, though still synthesized, carried a different tone, a hint of something akin to contemplation. We have considered your offer. Vega's posture remained unchanged, her gaze steady. And your decision? We have reached a consensus. The officer continued, his holographic projection wavering slightly. We are willing to engage in dialogue. A collective breath escaped the Defiant's bridge crew. Dialogue, a flicker of hope in the vast darkness of interstellar conflict. We welcome your decision, Vega responded, her voice resonating with a quiet strength. We believe that understanding is the first step towards coexistence. Understanding is a complex endeavor, the Zirilan officer stated, his sensory tendrils twitching thoughtfully. Our cultures are vastly different. Differences are not obstacles, Commander, Vega countered. They are opportunities for growth, for learning, for expanding our understanding of the universe. We have much to discuss, the Zirilan officer acknowledged. We propose a neutral meeting point. We agree, Vega said. Name your location. The Zirilan officer provided coordinates, a remote system far from both human and Zirilan territories, a space where neutrality could be assured. We will be there, Vega affirmed. We will arrive with an open mind and a willingness to listen. The communications channel closed, leaving the Defiance bridge in a state of quiet elation. The prospect of dialogue, of a peaceful resolution, had ignited a spark of hope. Lieutenant Harrison, Vega addressed the young officer. Your discovery has opened a door to possibilities we never imagined. We must continue to explore the principles of quantum resonance, to understand its full potential. Yes, Admiral, Harrison responded, his eyes gleaming with intellectual curiosity. I believe we've only scratched the surface. The quantum quip was a mere glimpse of what's possible. Indeed, Vega agreed. And we must use this knowledge wisely. We must ensure that it serves as a tool for peace, not a weapon of destruction. The Defiant, now on a course towards the designated meeting point, became a vessel of diplomacy, a symbol of humanity's willingness to bridge the gap between civilizations. The journey was filled with anticipation, a sense of cautious optimism. Upon arrival, the Defiant found the Zirilan command ship waiting, its massive form a stark contrast to the Defiant's sleek design. The two vessels, representing vastly different cultures and ideologies, faced each other across the void, a silent testament to the gravity of the moment. A shuttle, bearing a delegation from the Defiant, approached the Zirilan command ship. Vega, accompanied by Harrison and other key members of the crew, stepped onto the alien vessel, entering a world of bioluminescent circuits and sensory tendrils. The meeting was a slow, deliberate process, a careful dance of diplomacy and understanding. The humans and Zirilan, initially wary of each other, began to find common ground, to recognize the shared humanity that transcended their cultural differences. The Zirilan, initially rigid and unyielding, began to show a willingness to adapt, to reconsider their long-held beliefs. They were fascinated by the humans' ability to find humor in the face of adversity, their capacity for creativity and innovation. The humans, in turn, gained a deeper appreciation for the Zirilan's technological prowess, their meticulous attention to detail, their unwavering commitment to logic and order. Harrison, in particular, found himself drawn to the Zirilan's understanding of quantum physics, their advanced knowledge of chronomechanics. He engaged in deep discussions with Zirilan scientists, sharing his discoveries and learning from their expertise. The concept of quantum resonance, the principle that had triggered the temporal anomaly, became a bridge between the two cultures. The Zirilan, intrigued by the human's ability to manipulate time and space through language, began to explore the possibilities of linguistic quantum manipulation. The dialogue was not without its challenges. There were moments of misunderstanding, of cultural clashes, of ideological differences. But through patience, empathy, and a genuine desire to understand, the humans in Zirilan were able to overcome these obstacles. Weeks turned into months, and the initial meeting evolved into a sustained exchange of knowledge and ideas. The humans in Zirilan, once adversaries, began to forge a bond, a connection built on mutual respect and understanding. The conflict, once a looming threat, receded into the background, replaced by a sense of shared purpose. The humans in Zirilan, united in their pursuit of knowledge, began to explore the vast expanse of the universe together, their ships venturing into uncharted territories, their minds open to new possibilities. The quantum quip, once a weapon of defiance, became a symbol of hope, a reminder of the power of language, the potential for understanding, the ability to bridge the gap between civilizations. It was a harmonic convergence, a resonance of understanding that echoed through the cosmos, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, and its ability to find common ground, even in the face of the unknown.